The NRA boycott has mushroomed to more than a dozen major corporations cutting ties with the Second Amendment group, and they include Delta and United Airlines. Meanwhile, President Trump criticized the first responders at the Parkland, Florida school shooting after reports surfaced that as many as 4 deputies took cover instead of pursuing the shooter.
The way they performed was, frankly, disgusting. They were listening to what was going on. You don't know until you test it, but I really believe I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon. And I think most of the people in this room would have done that too. But the way they performed was really a disgrace.
Joining us now to react to the latest on the shooting is White House Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley. Hogan, great to have you in tonight. You worked a long day today. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
So I want to get into what the president's reaction was, but first I want your reaction to what we uncovered tonight about the Sheriff Israel, who is quite a piece of work. And now we find out that they're sending around these system-wide emails to all the officers saying, support the sheriff, support the sheriff. Sounds like it's CYA mode over there. What is your take on
Well,
this?
you were right when you point out the point here is to find out what exactly happened. For him to use this time to go out on this political tour trying to bolster his own political agenda, which is a gun grab, which is so fascinating because Democrats in these times, as you know, go immediately to ending the Second Amendment and taking our guns. Let the government protect you. Well, we've seen what the government did at the FBI. We saw what it did at the local level. And now we saw deputies outside who were trained and had guns and didn't go in. So if it comes down to I get to protect myself with my own gun or I'm going to let the government do it, I'll take myself every day of the week.
It's very odd that the authorities saw ISIS flagged in one of these visits and was obsessed with ISIS. And I would think that a kid who's like amassing these weapons, obsessed with ISIS, has talked about school shooting. That's kind of an easy one. That doesn't happen. You probably don't get all those factors together. And he tortures animals. You don't get all those factors together very often.
It's so sad what was missed here and what could have been avoided. I mean, you know, the president had an incredible meeting with grieving parents and grieving children, students, people from around the area who were so just angry and frustrated and furious, but also just so sad at what happened. And now we know so much of this could have been prevented had any of these one flags been taken through the proper channels. This could have all been stopped, and that's what makes it so egregious.
What about my suggestion that the president ask Sessions to investigate this?
That's a very interesting suggestion. I mean, obviously, the president wants to get to the bottom of this.
Does he trust the Florida law enforcement to investigate this? The state, Rick Scott said they're going to do that today.
Well, I haven't spoken to him directly about that, but I will say that the DOJ obviously does have a role here if it so chooses.
The media, they're obsessed with the Republicans' relationship with the NRA. What is the president's view on these boycotts?
Well, I mean, look, this reminds me so much of this is a much more grievous issue. But I mean, remember when everyone came out against the Dixie Chicks? It was kind of their blowback for what they said about President Bush when they were on foreign soil.
I wrote a book called "Shut Up and Sing," which made a lot of headlines lately.
I heard about that book. I heard about that. I know the author. But this is the type of thing that is ridiculous from the standpoint of we have a Second Amendment in this country. The president supports that Second Amendment, supports the NRA. The NRA supports this president. And corporations can do what they want to, but to kowtow to pressure like this on something that is written in our Constitution that's afforded to every human American citizen is absolutely ridiculous.
But the president's in favor of some perhaps new restrictions, get rid of the bump stocks for sure. That's obvious for him. Perhaps still raising the age for a first-time purchase of a semi-auto rifle. Is he in favor of that or no?
Well, look, we had a meeting today. It's interesting you bring this up because other than the grievous families we talked about and the students that were so distraught, we also met with law enforcement officials. Then today at the White House, we have governors from across the country, Republicans and Democrats, dozens of them.
And what's the consensus? Do they want a ban on assault weapons? They want to raise the age of
They didn't bring up the age raising one time in that meeting. And again, the president's listening to all the stakeholders here, and when you sit with the governors at the local level who could help stop some of these shootings, when they don't bring it up, that's very telling to him.
Well, if you go to war at 18, and you vote at 18, but you can't buy a rifle at 18. I guess, I mean, I'm not even making a comment on it one way or another, but we let people do a lot at 18. Maybe we should raise the age of everything to 21. And
it's very inconsistent.
Maybe that's the question. What about the DACA decision? The Supreme Court decides not to, for now, take the case. What's the administration's reaction?
Well, look, let's just, on its face, the simplicity of it, and I think your viewers can understand this. Democrats say that the President Barack Obama was well within his rights. It wasn't unconstitutional. It wasn't unlawful. He has the power as president to establish DACA and start DACA. Well, play it out logically. If he has the power to start DACA, then doesn't this president have the power to stop DACA? It would make sense that if it's a presidential power. The problem is it's not. It's unconstitutional. It's unlawful. We're upset by the decision. Eventually, this has to get solved one way or the other.
So you're going to go to the Ninth Circuit
court
now because you wanted to hopscotch the Ninth Circuit. They don't. The court doesn't usually like that. So you're going to go back to the Ninth Circuit. You probably lose there. Then you go back to the Supreme Court, and they might accept the case on certiorari at that point.
It's going to be a lot longer than we had anticipated.
Hogan, thanks for working the double duty for us tonight. I appreciate it.
Always.
All right,
always.
Good to see you.
All right, thanks.